It was a new era in Skyblock. I was number 1 in Ice Collection, the long-awaited foraging update had dropped, and I had an active guild to play Skyblock with. For the first time in 2 years, I was free from the icebox and hadn't mined ice in several weeks. To commemorate the Great Ice War, I transformed the Ice Shrine into a museum and opened my island to the public. Many players came to visit my island, and among them were some familiar names. One was this player, the number 1 in Glaciite, and another was my former ice rival, now friend, Macash. I also met a player named 56E, who unbeknownst to me at the time of making the Great Ice War, had once held the number 1 spot in Ice Collection all the way back in 2020. I was inspired, so as a tribute to every prominent member of the Ice Collection community, I built the Ice Hall of Fame on my island. If you're still wondering who number 2 in Ice Collection is, I still have no idea. So if you're watching this and you're number 2 in Ice Collection, please come visit me. As things begin to settle down, I decided to go for one final milestone before retiring from Ice Collection. 3 billion ice. While preparing to return to the grind, I made an alarming discovery. The snail pet was bugged, making mining in the icebox impossible. At first, I assumed the snail pet was broken due to the recent pet crafting update. But what I didn't realize was something far more sinister was unfolding, something that would reveal itself in the weeks to come. With the snail pet out of commission, 3 billion would have to wait. So for the first time in a long while, I decided to play Skyblock like a normal player. Fortunately, my campaign for number 1 in Ice Collection had left me with plenty of wealth and a ton of magical power. Equipped with Final Destination armor, an Ender artifact, and an Atom Split katana, I soloed my very first of many Tier 4 Void Glooms. Not long after, I reached Enderman Slayer 7, which unlocked the crafting recipe for the most powerful and sought-after bow in the game. Thanks to the wealth I had accumulated, I didn't need to grind for a judgment core. So upon hitting Enderman Slayer 7, I went straight to the auction house, bought a core, and crafted the Terminator. I now had a Terminator, but much to my chagrin, I was still lacking a Floor 7 dungeons completion. You see, I avoided Party Finder for years because I knew how unforgiving Party Finder was to inexperienced players like myself. I was a detriment to the S+ run, and the higher my Skyblock level got, the more embarrassing it became that I had no idea what I was doing. But for the first time since I started playing Skyblock, the Terminator gave me a little something called confidence. With the Terminator, I could finally deal real damage, which would improve my chances of surviving on the higher floors. But even with the Terminator, I wasn't strong enough to do dungeons alone, and I didn't know the secrets well enough to consistently get a high score. So, I was going to need some help. Fortunately, I knew exactly who to ask. This is Leafman11, the guildmaster of the Ice Addicts and a veteran dungeons player. Leafman is not just a skilled player, he's also one of the coolest people you'll meet in Skyblock. Hey Leafman, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. What's up?
Good. I did a bunch of Enderman Slayer recently and got me one of these. Check this out.
You got a Terminator before doing dungeons?
Yeah, pretty wild, right? Well, speaking of dungeons, that's actually why I'm here. Got a random question for you.
Alright.
How good are you at dungeons?
I'd say I know my way around.
So humble, love it. Well, Leaf, I think I'm long overdue for that Floor 7 completion. Would you be willing to help a fellow Ice Brother out and do dungeons with me?
Of course. What kata are you at?
Not good, man. I'm barely kata 14. Is that gonna be a problem?
Well, we definitely have some work to do, but it won't be a problem.
When Leafman agreed to help me get my first Floor 7 completion, I knew I was in good hands. With the Catacombs Expert Ring in my inventory and Leafman by my side, my journey to conquering Floor 7 had officially begun. Many floor 6 completions later, I finally made it to Kata 24, which unlocked floor 7. Before entering floor 7, Leafman warned me that floor 7 would be significantly harder than all of the other floors combined. I managed to survive all the other floors, and I had a Wither Relic in my possession, so I was confident that I could survive floor 7. I was wrong. Despite the embarrassing fashion in which I failed, Leafman carried me to my very first floor 7 completion. I was incredibly grateful to Leafman for helping me reach Catacombs level 24 and guiding me through my very first floor 7 completion. Most players would have asked for payment, but Leafman didn't ask for a single coin. I wanted to thank him properly, and I had the perfect thing in mind. Thank you so much, Leaf.
No problem.
I really do appreciate you helping me out. As a matter of fact, I made something for you that I want you to have.
Really?
Yeah, it's not much, but here you go.
What? Thank you.
No, thank you.
Wait, did you make this with your own ice?
About that. No, but I did buy it off the bazaar and crafted it myself. Does that count for something?
You have 2.6 billion ice collection and still had to buy the ice?
Well, I could have used my own ice, but I'm waiting for Derpy to collect my ice so I can level up my G-Drag pet.
That's fair. This is still really cool. Thank you so much. Definitely putting this in my museum.
Leafman quickly put it up on display on his island, and to this day, it stands as a reminder of our journey and the bond we built along the way. Things were looking up. While Leafman and I were recruiting new members to the Ice Addicts, that's when it happened. This was bad. Really bad. The Hypixel admins were preparing to disable all fortune stats on private islands, and for ice mining, this wasn't just a nerf, it was a death sentence. If this change went through, ice mining would go back to pre-Snell pet rates, which were terrible. To put it into perspective, at my peak, I was mining over 1 million blocks of ice per hour. With this change, the best I could hope for was around 65,000 blocks of ice per hour. Even if I mined for 8 hours straight, my ice minions would still produce more ice than me. That's how bad it was. I had poured thousands of hours and billions of coins into perfecting my mining fortune setup, and now all of it was about to become completely useless in the icebox. Sure, fortune still works on public islands, but here's the catch. Ice is the only time-sensitive resource in the game. Allow me to explain. Want to farm crops? No problem. You've got an entire private area dedicated to just that. Need sand? There's plenty of that right here. Ores? You can find them everywhere in the Dwarven mines. But ice? There are only 2 places you can get ice. One is in the mine shafts, but in such a small quantity that it's not worth your time. And the obvious one is the Winter Island, which is only open for 10 hours and 20 minutes every 124 hours. Because of this weird schedule, the Winter Island never falls on the same day or the same time. And even if you do manage to log on during the event, the place is packed with players grinding for frozen treasure. It's inefficient and not a reliable way to collect ice. And as number 1 in ice, I felt obligated to voice my concerns. So I took to the Hypixel forums and made this post. Unfortunately, my efforts to rally support beyond the ice community fell flat. The update the ice community feared finally arrived. Ice mining was officially dead, along with my hopes for a sequel to the Great Ice War. Ice was everything I'd ever known in Skyblock, and for the first time since I started playing, reality hit me hard.
You really think your dreams are going to go that long without getting crushed by the admins?
With Hypixel admins clearly sabotaging ice mining and forcing me into an early ice retirement, I said my goodbyes. No other player hated 0.23.3 more than this player. Our mutual disdain for the fortune changes bloomed into a friendship. While we were venting to each other over the update, I had an idea. In the past, when players got upset about an update, they would stage a protest in Hub 1. What if the ICE community banded together and did the same? With this thought in mind, I took to the guild Discord and rallied the troops. The goal was simple, really. Get attention for our cause, and don't do anything stupid to get banned. Because we're the ice addicts, and 0.23.3 affected ice, we all agreed to spam glacial sites in Hub 1. Protest day finally arrived, and we got started. I really don't know what we were expecting to come out of it, but let's just say our plan to get attention worked. We even managed to make a couple of sworn enemies of the ice addicts. About 2 hours in, several of us started to drop off, and just when we were about to call it quits, something incredible happened. The number one player in Glaciate showed up and joined our protest. The Glaciate community had our backs, and their support gave us the boost we needed to keep going for another 2 hours. In total, the protest lasted 4 hours and was a major success. But despite the positive turnout, the admin stayed silent, and our hopes of seeing fortune return to private islands began slipping away. Honestly, I still don't fully understand why the admins decided to remove fortune from private islands. We may never know for sure. As tough as it is to accept that ice mining won't return to its former glory, I'm incredibly grateful I got to be a part of something special. For years, players have dreamed of reaching the top of a collection leaderboard, many inspired by the legend himself. He inspired countless players to chase their goals in Skyblock and beyond.